Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week we're continuing with Veronica Mars Season 3 and the podcast Veronica Mars Investigations. We watched the Veronica Mars episode of Vice and Men, with the puns, you guys, plus Veronica Mars Investigations episode President Infidelity of Vice and Men, which is a amalgam of this episode and the 2 before it. So that podcast is now doing them 3 at a time. We are waiting until we have watched all 3 to listen, and ding, 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 this week is one of those where we get to talk about the podcast as well. So I watched the episode, and then I listened to the podcast, and now I'm all confused as to what happened in which episode and what the plot lines were for this one we just watched. You guys are messing with our heads, Veronica Mars Investigations. Really? It's very confusing. So let's see, on Vice and Men.
Which is the most recent one.
That's the most recent one in our particular watch. That is Episode 7 of Season 3, and Veronica is mad at her dad because he didn't come home one night and she knew he was with this married woman who he had promised he was not doing anything other than having drinks with. She doesn't trust Logan because he has some reason why he knows Mercer is not the rapist because they were doing something on the night of one of the rapes, but he won't tell her what it is. So she is just all sorts of untrusting and winds up staying in Wallace's room while Wallace is out of town. She thinks Piz is going to be out of town too, but he is not. He comes back and just plays comic relief for the whole episode. The case of the week involved the very sweet girlfriend of somebody in the next dorm room over who goes to see her boyfriend and he's not there and she is worried that something has happened to him, and Veronica, being I trust no man, is pretty sure that what happened to him is a pretty classmate named Scarlett. Right. But it does turn out, after many turns of the investigation, including a really, really menacing revisit to the Fitzpatrick's bar, and it turns out that indeed her boyfriend is true and just got bonked on the head surfing and, should be more trusting. But then, having learned the lesson that she should be more trusting, Veronica is then roofied and almost raped in the parking garage. Yeah. But Logan, thankfully, comes to her rescue. And so at the end, she is surrounded by these men she has not trusted who are lovingly taking care of her, Logan and her dad.
Right.
I will crow a little bit in that I said, if Keith is fooling around with this married woman, Vinny is somewhere with a camera. Yes. And indeed, Vinny was somewhere with a camera and brings Keith the pictures and makes his deal that my client, her husband, is giving me this much money. If you give me twice as much, I won't show him the pictures.
Right.
But Vinny, God bless him, also comes to Veronica's rescue in the Fitzpatrick's bar in the most adorable way. And it's like... Yes. Every sleazy thing you have ever done is forgiven, Vinny. That was awesome. Taking care of Veronica.
Much needed.
God bless you.
Much needed relief, right?
Yes.
Of, her going into the River Styx again, which was, she knew a horrible, horrible, horrible idea.
Yes.
That she couldn't talk this girl Meryl out of. And so we were left to be just terrified for what would happen to her. And then thankfully Vinny showed up
out of nowhere
like a goofball.
It never occurred to me that he would be the agent of her rescue.
No.
I thought maybe she called the sheriff before she went in, but that was adorable. And that was such a nice payoff. And Vinny continues to be... See, Vinny is the only guy you can trust. If you live in a world where Vinny is the only guy you can trust, let me say again, get out of Neptune. Get out of Neptune now.
Yes.
But as soon as I saw Ken Marino come up in the credits, I'm like, he was there with the camera. And indeed he was. But that was such a nice extra
his flip
thing.
Phone.
Yeah.
He didn't even take a real picture.
That was just adorable. That whole, it was a horrifying scene right up to the moment where he was there. And it's like, okay, now it's going to turn into comic relief. We love him. Yes, yes, yes.
Right. But I wonder if this means that the Fitzpatricks we're not done with them. We haven't seen them for a couple of episodes.
Yeah, apparently we're not done with them.
We were hoping that maybe them killing Kendall was the end of it.
But they don't appear to know that Kendall is dead. They're asking
I know.
for an address. So, the brother killed Kendall and then got killed himself, right?
Right.
So
the brother who killed Kendall doesn't know that, I don't remember their names.
Everybody who gives a bleep about this plot line, please raise your hand. Nobody?
Yeah,
Let's move along.
Mm-hmm.
Other than if you just want to, have a precursor of menace of Veronica in an episode that then ends in additional menace. A little foreshadowing. Stop by the river Styx. Somebody there will make you think that something bad is going to happen to her, and then it'll be off, and then, it's all fine, and then something terrible will happen. But,
right.
That was... And also, at one point, Logan is trying to find her and goes to the room where Keith has said she's staying in Wallace's room and finds Piz there, and an impression is definitely given that she is in some way with Piz. Piz does not rush to say, oh, no, she didn't know I was going to be here and I've been sleeping on the floor. He was just like, yeah, she's staying here. So Logan, who has some trust issues himself, poor boy, certainly with every reason to, I imagine that's going to come back to be unpleasant.
Mm-hmm.
If we learn nothing else from Veronica Mars, young ladies, when you go back to complain about the hair in your pasta, bring your drink with you. What are you doing? There wasn't even a lid on it. Come on, Veronica.
Yeah.
What?
I guess she didn't think right in the middle of the, she's not at a frat party.
It's her job
she's just
to think. Come on, would you? Right. I do not have nearly the background of Veronica Mars of horrible things happening to me. I have no experience of horrible things happening to me. I wouldn't leave a drink without a lid sitting there on the table while I went all the way across the room. Nobody would. What the heck? Yeah. She's a sharp girl. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, I'm at a college where girls are getting roofied regularly, but it's only at frat houses, so I can just leave my drink sitting here by itself on a table. I'm sure nothing will happen.
Yes.
Stop it.
And also, I know her judgment was obviously affected by the drug, but she knew it was happening, right? Because she's like, I recognize this feeling. I know it's happening. So she decides to go get in her car? Why would she
I think where I need to be right now is a deserted parking garage.
Right. I certainly don't want to victim blame, but call somebody. Don't try to go somewhere by yourself and drive a car.
Yeah. Stay in the cafeteria where if you pass out, there's lots of people around.
Right. The only reason I say that is just because she does acknowledge that she knows what's happening.
Right.
Because it's happened to her before, unfortunately.
Yes. So, as they were mentioning in the Veronica Mars Investigations podcast, Veronica seems off her game quite a bit in these college episodes. Sometimes she's her normal figuring things out genius, but sometimes she does things that are not smart. Now, unlike them, I don't particularly blame her for being mad at her dad. I think given her background and her situation with her mother and all that stuff, I think that I can see somebody her age with a whole lot of self-righteousness built into her character is not going to take that lightly. Mm-hmm. And really, he knows he deserves it. Just because, this is something special doesn't make it right. If it's so special, wait till she divorces her husband and then go right ahead.
Which clearly she should do at this point.
But apparently, whether she does or not, she is not going to be back on the show, so... according to the Veronica Mars Investigations, I will just check that on IMDb, but they watched the whole season, so I guess they know. Right. But why couldn't she why does it have to be now, Why can't they just... Because it's for plot. Mm-hmm. And what else?
I'm trying to think that in the podcast, there were a couple of things that they brought up that I feel like we brought up in the past couple episodes, but now... I'm unable to think of what those are, so that's not helpful.
Yes, they agree with us. It's fine.
Yes, they agree with us.
They seem to feel that the dean is evil. I don't necessarily think he's evil. I think he's kind of a buffoon. But apparently in this latest episode, it was dropped that he owes a lot of money gambling to Mercer and probably to other people, I would guess. So
maybe the Fitzpatrick's great.
That's right. I'm sure I really did hope that we were done with them.
Yeah.
There's enough problems without them, really.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We're filled up with problems right now. Can you find another show?
Please go away.
It's like, I don't see any place this season is going to go that I'm going to want to follow, but I will just because we're doing it. But it is weird to me to have 3 episodes worth of podcast in one episode. I understand why they did it, but I wish they had just done 3 short episodes. Because it gets all jumbled, and it's like I barely remember stuff from past episodes.
Right.
So do we think her professor is on the up and up with, I'm not giving you this internship with the FBI just to buy your silence? I just like you, Veronica. You're a good kid. You're very smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fishy for sure.
Do we think that there's something fishy about him, or is it just, he's just I don't know.
Yeah, good question. Or he's just kind of, slightly like fishy, but not necessarily evil.
Right, right.
Yeah, unclear.
Do you think we will ever again hear of Sully and his girlfriend? Or are they gone forever?
No, I think they're gone forever.
They're the case of the week people.
Yeah.
I guess he's going to leave college now, so he won't be next door to the dorms. Or maybe they'll just reference him and his extremely unpleasant roommate.
Yeah. Yes.
That seems
the recurring person that we get is the tea proffering RA. Just turns up every once in a while.
It's like everybody who gets any repeat time on this show, it's like, well, could he be the bad guy? Could he be evil? How about him? He looks kind of evil. No, we never saw him again.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Well, that guy gives tea drinkers a bad name, so I don't like him.
He has all the keys. That must mean something.
And he was the rideshare guy.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just would say that why are people still coming to this college? I continue to not understand.
Right.
Seems like an unfortunate spot.
Right.
Anyway, next week, since Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is still on hiatus, we will watch 2 episodes of Veronica Mars because we cannot get enough or get done with this fast enough. Anyway, episodes 8 and 9 titled Lord of the Pies, P-I-'S, and Spit and Eggs. Wow, those sound delightful.
Delightful.
Oh, goodness. And that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.